Felt like I pushed that away so much when my dad passed away. I just went straight into diving. I didn't take any days off. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to focus on something else to distract myself. Hi, I'm Tom Daley, and this is Knitting Talks, where two people that really love each other and know each other well have a sit down and chat over some knitting, or in my case today, I'm going to be crocheting. I think settling for the wrong person is scarier because you can be alone and be completely happy with yourself. Being happy and making sure that you're doing the best thing that's for you, that's way less scary than settling for the wrong person. I mean, there's so many things that keep me up at night. I am so freaked out by the size of the universe and all the things that are in space and the fact that we are so small and insignificant. I'm just here in this room, crocheting. There's been little parts of me that I've lost. And I think lots of us as adults start to lose the feeling of being a kid and that playfulness and the not taking things too seriously and having fun. I'm trying to get that back. I remember when I first started diving, I first started going on trips, all I ever did was laugh and be stupid and like run around and like do silly things. I feel like that was when I was at my happiest, when I didn't have a care in the world. I would hate to become the person that becomes miserable at everything. I think life's too short to hold grudges. Life's too short to be afraid of becoming something. I think you just got to be you and be yourself. Building up to an Olympic Games, there's so many occasions where you can get it wrong. There's occasions when it comes down to sleep, recovery. Should I do one more dive because that last one wasn't good? Or should I save that energy and know that I should trust my training? So there's been lots of times where I feel like I haven't quite trusted my judgment, but at the same time, you know yourself better than anyone else and you have to trust your gut sometimes. There's a feeling that I wish I could forget, but at the same time, it's almost what shaped me. Loss is one of the hardest things to deal with. And I lost my dad in 2011. Like, we knew that he was sick and we knew that he had a terminal diagnosis, but we never, like, my dad was one of those people that would carry on no matter what. He didn't think he was gonna die, so we didn't think he was gonna die. I know death is like a really dark subject to talk about, but that feeling of losing someone that you love and that's so close to you is so hard to deal with and grieve, and I felt like I pushed that away so much when my dad passed away. I just went straight into diving. I didn't take any days off. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to focus on something else to distract myself. It was mainly after the London Olympics I took the time to actually grieve. I wish no one has to ever go through that, but the reality of life is that with life comes death. Love has a way stronger hold on me. I don't hate anyone. I find hate to be such a strong word. I mean, I don't feel like there's any room for hate in any situation. There's lots of people that may not agree with that, but I do think that you have to take into consideration so many things when you see a person, what has made them the person that they are today. Especially when in my early diving career, I was hugely underestimated in lots of occasions. I was told many times that I wouldn't make a diver because I couldn't do the splits, because I couldn't do 10 hanging wall bar pike ups without bending my legs. I wasn't flexible enough. I wasn't courageous enough. So I've definitely been underestimated in diving. Also, I've been overestimated in diving sometimes, especially by the expectation of other people. Sometimes they just assume that you're gonna go in and win everything. And diving doesn't work like that. It's such an on-the-day sport that you don't know what's gonna happen. No matter how good your training's been, you can fumble and you can make mistakes. One example of that was in Rio 2016. I had the expectation and overestimated myself because I thought in that competition, I was gonna win an Olympic gold medal individually. I knew I could do it. I was the best prepared physically, mentally. An Olympic record in the prelim, won that. The next day was the semi-finals. I came in, I was absolutely exhausted. I was trying my best and I just had nothing left in the tank, and I ended up coming 18th place and like completely bombing out. I don't think I've ever felt so angry and distraught and frustrated in my whole life. Again, it was that feeling of loss after working for 4 years to be the best that I could be. And I remember in the outside the pool, I met up with Lance and he said to me, maybe your story doesn't end here. This is not the end of you with diving. This is just the beginning. Maybe you weren't meant to win an Olympic gold medal here because maybe your future child is meant to see you win an Olympic gold medal. Lo and behold, I won a gold medal and Robbie was able to see that. It's definitely easier to be underestimated. Being the underdog is the easy thing. So when you're expected to go and win events, it's really hard to stay mentally prepared and give yourself the goal of what are you chasing. Whereas I remember in 2009 in my first World Championships, I was the complete underdog. I'd done the Olympics the year before and I was just plodding along doing my thing, trying to do the best that I could do, and ended up winning. But from then on, I was the world champion, and then it was, the expectation was like, oh, is he gonna do it again the next year or the year after or the next competition? And it took me, well, 8 years before I won another individual world title. It's hard to be chased. It's easier to be the chaser. I've never forgotten who I am, but I do feel like I'm constantly evolving. I used to be scared of that. I used to be scared of making changes and scared of trying something new. And actually, I don't think people should ever be afraid of evolving and changing and forgetting who they once were. But it's more about who are you now and who do you want to be. And I think being true to yourself and being authentic to yourself allows you to forget the parts of you that you were trying to be. I used to be unhappy before I came out. I was unhappy before I, was able to just be myself. So I think forgetting that part of me has been, like, it lifts a weight off your shoulders and it allows you just to be a little bit more free, I guess. Everything that's happened in your past has created your reality right now. There's been some horrible things that have happened in my life, and there's been some amazing things that have happened in my life. And maybe if I changed one thing, the rest of them wouldn't have happened. So I don't think I would change anything that's happened in my life. Losing my dad. Of course, I would love to have him back, but that would have changed my whole trajectory as well. There's been so many lessons that my dad taught me that I never would have realized he was trying to teach me until he had gone. I think the one thing I would change if it didn't change anything would be not to have lost my dad already. But at the same time, I do feel like it's shaped who me, my brothers, my mum, all are today. Last night I nearly went to a tarot card reader because I was like, oh, I've never had this done before. Maybe I need to find out what's happening in my future. I don't know if I'd want to know what was in my future. If you think you know what might happen in your future, you start changing the way that you act and the way that you are, and you're not living in the moment. The best way to get the most out of your life is being present. So not looking too far into the future, knowing what you want out of the future, but being present in order to be able to make it happen. Oh gosh, yes. If people say they haven't lied before, then come on. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but the only times I tend to lie are in occasions where I don't want to hurt someone's feelings. Sometimes you have to kind of lie to be able to not hurt someone's feelings. I am a chronic people pleaser. I hate saying no, I hate making people feel uncomfortable. Most of the time it's down to things like schedule, because most of the time I'm so busy I can't do things, but I really want to see people, and then it's just really hard to make everything collide. One obvious place for me to find peace is knitting or crocheting, because it's the one time my mind is able to just switch off and just go to a completely different dimension. But I also find peace in being able to be with my family. I love to cook. Like cooking in the kitchen and following a recipe or baking, that's just for me is like so peaceful. So yeah, I definitely feel at peace when I'm with my family or if I'm knitting or crocheting. Thank you so much for watching my knitting talk, and be sure to subscribe because there's going to be more knitting talks coming soon. Hope you got to know me a little bit better, and we'll be back very soon with more knitting talks.